This right here is the Honor 200 Pro. It's essentially a phone that costs less than $599 or pounds, and for that you get some crazy spec. Actually, let's touch on that spec. You get 100 watts of wired charging. Plug, unfortunately, is not included. You get 5200 milliamp hours of battery, Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, 12 gig of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, all for the pricey sum of $599, which is insane. Yes, there is an immediate drawback, and that is this doesn't have a power brick inside, but that can be had with promotional offers through Honor's website, or if you want, you can click the link in description and shop Anker and get yourself close to or even exceed a 100-watt charging plug. However, the main question we have with every phone we've ever reviewed, including its baby sister, the Honor 200 Lite, is we know what it is, but is it any good? Let's find out. Let's talk performance of the Honor 200 Pro. So as we mentioned, 12 gig of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Now, when you run this through a benchmark, performance is actually really, really good. It's probably not as good as you'd get on the top tier sort of 8 Gen 3 or even 8 Gen 2, but it's not far behind. But then to realize those things in the real world, in terms of the power that lives under the Honor 200 Pro, let's look at performance in general in terms of gaming. So as always, we always use Call of Duty as our benchmark here. And to be fair, graphically, in terms of operation, it runs very, very, very well. You can do a lot of gaming here for a lot of time if you wanted to. Graphically, frame rates, etc., all look great. Now, if we move away from gaming and look at screen quality and screen performance, yes, this is an AMOLED display. Well, technically it's an OLED display with all the right color ratios you'd expect at 120 Hertz. And the color reproduction hitting you right in your eyeballs is absolutely incredible, just as you would expect. Now, there are claims of 3,000-4,000 nits of brightness. Not gonna bother looking into that. We're purely looking at the quality of the display when you're watching content. Lastly, in terms of performance, let's look at OS. Now, Honor Magic OS powers the 200 Pro, and essentially what you're getting here is Honor's take of, I guess, iOS to an extent. There's a lot of familiarities, but there are some really, really cool bits, such as those extra large folders and small folders. So larger folders allows you to access apps within a smaller window, such as YouTube, whatever have you, and then you've got your smaller apps that will sit inside your standard folder. As you'd expect, you click and that folder expands. You obviously do get here Magic Pill as well, which some people say is a knockoff of Dynamic Island. Actually, they had it before Dynamic Island even came out, but we digress. Things like Spotify, video recording, anything like that is easily accessible right through Magic Pill. Lastly though, let's look at generally the screen performance in terms of the 120 Hz display. If you're running any sort of articles in the background, you're scrolling through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever have you, it runs butter smooth, no slowdown, no issues at all. So anything you want to use and throw at this phone in terms of its performance, it will absolutely conquer. So that capsule-shaped camera on the back of the Honor 200 Pro powers one hell of a camera array. You get 50 megapixel wide, 50 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide. On the front, you get a 50 megapixel wide again and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. All record in 4K 30 FPS, which is sick. Now, you're probably gonna know, if you're at all interested in this phone, that the main selling point is the front-facing camera, which they call the Portrait Expert. Now, one of those modes, essentially, that powers this whole camera is something called hard court mode. Essentially, that allows, it's an old French photography studio or style, and the three images we're showing you here gives you an idea what those styles look like. Kicking right out of this, normal performance in terms of cameras, day-to-day usage, for example, your wide, ultra-wide, your zooms, and your video in 4K, day, night, etc. all look really, really good. In fact, these actually are all shot in the vibrant profile. Now, they're not as vibrant as Samsung's camera OS and how that runs, etc. That you don't get that same sort of vibrancy. You get a slightly more flatter profile. But just for reference, we've given you the option to see what an authentic photo looks like, a vibrant photo, and a normal, basic sort of photo, what all three look like in terms of their brightness. Gives you an idea. Night mode, again, really strong, actually adds a lot of light to the photos and videos. And then if you go to videos itself, 4K 30 looks really, really good. Generally speaking, the Honor 200 Pro, very similar to the Magic 6 Pro that we reviewed previously, which we'll link in description, is strength is going to be its cameras, especially that hardcourt mode actually looks sick. So the Honor 200 Pro, our final thoughts. The review's been basically focused on two key elements, which has been performance from 8S Gen 3 and the rear and front cameras, which essentially is the main selling bit of the 200 Pro. One small disappointment we would highlight is it's a very much a rarity to find a 100-watt brick, which is a shame it didn't come plugged in, or there isn't just a baseline incentive that whenever you buy the phone, you get the plug with it. Bit of a shame. It is available right now on the website through Honor directly. You can actually get the 200 Pro with the brick for free, but if you watch this review in say 3 or 4 months time and that offer is no longer available, you are then forking out 30 to 40 pounds for the 100 watts brick to charge your phone fully. But it's a negative, but also a plus. If you have an 80 or 100 watt at home, we have an 80 watt at home in our example, it will charge the phone super quickly. The only other downside we can find personally in the phone, IP65 rather than IP68 rated. Minor thing really, but otherwise the Honor 200 Pro has been a great phone. Main highlights: display, sound quality in terms of the speakers fire at the top and at the bottom, which is sick. Charging speeds up to 100 watts, we've been hitting 80 because that's what we've gotten available to us. And then the cameras are very good. Generally speaking, you're going to struggle to find a phone that costs this much and gives you this much. As a comparison, the Pixel 8 standard would be its direct rival at the exact same cost. Obviously in a few weeks time that's going to change to the Pixel 9, but I really doubt that Pixel 9, in fact you can pretty much see all the leaks about it, is going to be anywhere near as good as this Honor 200 Pro. Thank you so much for watching. Till the next one, as always, we out.